You see, the whole time, it was only one web anyway. The whole time. It was just a dark web. The whole time that we were up under. Now, there are people who may not even know of the intricacies of the dark web yet. But just like movies and anything that you can see through a physical medium, you're being shown a vision of things to come. This is why it was called television, because that's what it does. It tells a vision, to television to you. This is why they over time became rectangular versus square. Now the square part is Masonic, and that ties into the left-handed Luciferian principle in regards to all right angles and about the angling of how different spirits come in and out of this plane. But then as time went on, as you can see with your average smart TV, flat screen, laptop, cell phone, the number one sacred object in sacred geometry is the rectangle. It was the object, the number one selected medium for psychic impression, for premonitions, for divination, for conjurings, for omens. The rectangle. When you see an altar, a lot of them are rectangular. The door that you have to pass through is not a square. It's rectangular. A lot of windows of opportunity. The windows usually are rectangular. Are you hungry? Your cabinets are more than likely rectangular. Still hungry? Your refrigerator is a rectangle. The vehicle you drive is a rectangle with different chiselings. Starts off as a rectangle before you sculpt an idol. Before you build an idol, you first start with a rectangular block. This only makes sense to the chosen, as we say, or as they say, or as it said, the elect. It's a rectangle. As much as this creates a wild playing field for the enemy, like, what do you mean? So all the creatures from all dimensions now have open access? Yes. Has it always been this way? No. But in the last few years, has it become this way? Yes. When did a lot of this start? Allegedly surrounding the Montauk Project / Philadelphia experiment. You almost have to tie those two in, like a part one and part two. Because any level of time displacement where you're dealing with any kind of material, it's gonna do something. And this is again alleged, this part is alleged, but it's still information that I saw. Whether it's true or false, just leave it up to yourself. But do understand, you are looking up and seeing this is what you can prove. You absolutely can prove that the world has become wilder, that there's more tabloids out there, more stories. If you have a smartphone, you could go to your average social app, social media site, and you can prove that for yourself. You can attribute it to whatever you want to attribute it to. But what I'm talking about here is for a particular group that understand these things to be spirits, to be forces. So this is really tailored for them. So the Father would have you know that those rivers have risen. And just like in Noah's day, those beings are the rain that's coming down from the top. It's not a physical rain, it's a spiritual rain. It's however many million, billion, trillion demons. Now remember, if you if you know the spirit and the mind of Christ personally, and you've done more than church, and if you actually know what's in your scriptures, you'll see these things. But they're gonna be like kind of like wild animals, more afraid of you than you are of them. Right? Now, mind you, if you're carrying the energy, the spirit, the wisdom, the knowledge of Christ for real, mind you, I gotta say that. This way you at least have a whole bunch of prompts from Jesus way ahead of time to let you know what you're going to see before you see it, right? Just like the Old Testament, so that when you see it, you will know that I am He, and then you will believe. God is very preventative. God is not interested in telling you something at the last minute. That's people. People the ones telling you something at the last minute. Oh, you got to get ready now. There's no time. God ain't going to be telling you that there's no time before He telling you do it now while you got time. He ain't going to wait until there's out of time to start telling you. It's not how God works. Not like that. Not if you are in that dispensation with Him where you have a Abraham / Moses type of partnership with Him. We try to say something for every group if we can. So the dark web is just, the dark world that we've been in since then. And the giants. I mean, when's the last time you seen the Discovery Channel? Again, I'm not saying you have to believe this. What I'm saying is this is what I saw, not only in a vision, but there's documents out there. We live in a very declassified time right now. You can look. I don't know how much of it you can look up now though. So, I may have to be open to more rebuttals when it comes to what's actually researchable, because a lot of what I share now, that's for right now, is stuff that I kind of learned in the late 90s, early 2000s, early to mid 2000s tops. Definitely before the 2018, 2019 year. Definitely before that span. There's a lot though, it's packed. You have to think. There's people, you gotta, just in this is what I also saw. This is a circle, but it's not a ball. It's not a ball. It's not a ball. It doesn't matter if you can prove that the earth is round. A disc can be curved. Because that's the argument that wins it every time, that usually stops a flat earther. I'm not saying I'm a flat earther. What I'm saying is though that when you see a map, they don't usually have people looking on the ball for where they're trying to go. And if you could stand on a basketball or a ball, period, I mean, how much balance could you have? I saw a disc, and I saw what people are talking about and saying. An ice ring around these first 7 continents. The whole idea of what the earth is, it goes on forever. Just like the scripture said. Oh, the horizon line stretches on forever. It's also known as vanishing point. There is no horizon. There never was a horizon line. There's only what you can and cannot see. As far as you can and cannot see. If you have astigmatism, eye condition, causing up some nearsightedness, farsightedness, etc. If you have astigmatism, depending to the degree to which you're astigmatized, you could really see and prove for yourself that the earth is round for you. But me personally, one who has astigmatism due to being a Native American, I have never been on a single flight anywhere in the world where it has ever curved. It never, ever got round. Nowhere in the air, nowhere out to sea. Is it round? Is it a ball? Maybe. It just doesn't seem like anybody could comfortably walk upside down. Because eventually, if it's a ball, somebody has to be upside down. Somebody has to be walking sideways, right? Like walking sideways, right? Back to this dark web-ism and the masters of the keyboard, whose time is just about up. So they want to ravish the world and make it as bad as they can before the master returns. And so there just is no holds barred. And if you think it's no holds barred now, you can see how far they are willing to go. And your imagination will certainly exhaust if you're not evil, in terms of trying to gauge what they're gonna do next. But the parts of scripture that will never come across anybody's pulpit who's getting paid as a pastor is that there are things that are so grotesque, is so vile, that are just all over the Old Testament, throughout the books, the prophets, all over. It just, you can't get anybody to shout with it, so there's no money in it. I hate to make church sound like that, but that's what church is a circle. What is a circle? It's a coin, also known as a denomination. We don't represent the church. We represent the disciples. Big difference. The church is like another name for the Pharisees. Yeah, you had the term the church, but that was just Paul putting up with people because they needed to be called something. That's where the term Christian came from. You can follow Jesus and not be called a Christian at all. The term Christian, yes, anybody who really knows the scriptures for real, and we're talking particularly the New Testament, yes, Paul allowed for people who follow Jesus to be called Christians in Antioch. Yes, it was an allowance. It is not a mandate. They just ran with it. But what are you really? A disciple. That's who you are. That's what you are called in both testaments, Old and New. If you're a follower, you're a disciple. What's that mean? That the Most High God is about discipline? Yah is about order? Not slavery, but the kind of order that allows you to be free forever. The kind of order that makes life a paradise. The kind of hard work that makes every day seem like Saturday. The kind of saving that turns every day into a shopping spree if you want it to be, with no extra fee. So don't faint when you see everything in the movies becoming real, because that's also part of the plan that I've seen, because 4D is crashing here and we got all the technology and all of the little medicines and things at higher clearance that we could create everything that's on the screen. We could make physical replicas of everything that's on the screen. Anything that you ever seen in the movie or ever will see in the movie can be made right now. And what I'm seeing that it is being made right now is being tweaked, and even stuff that's far worse than that. This is what brings me again back to that dark web, because that's what they're aiming for. I see that. This is what I see. Look at where humanity is headed. You know, it's getting well, you know what? No, it's not getting dark. It's not getting dark. It's been pitch black out here for a while, in terms of human history. Let me not say that. I retract that. It's not getting dark. It's not getting dark. It's not getting dark. It's been pitch black for a while, and outer darkness is waiting beyond those outer walls. But those that outer ice ring that we're calling Antarctica, that circles all 7 of the continents, is not just at the bottom. Otherwise, the North and South Pole would not be winterized. If this, okay. See, there's a lot to question, where, I definitely can be just far off base with it, but this is what I saw. It is other lands beyond this. Is circles, which you're calling other planets, Venus, Mars, Jupiter. There are other continents within inner and outer rings. There's no, actually there is an inner ring here. This is what I saw also in both vision and in documentation. That, yeah, there's an inner. You could get in the inner circle right through the North Pole, or choose something in the Grand Canyon. But here's what I wanted to kind of question in regards to this ring and the ice wall. Why do they have a stronger security presence than Washington, D.C.? It's easier to get into the White House than it is to get to the people in Antarctica. Look at where they are. Nobody's going to survive that journey without real backing. Right, you got to talk like that if you go into Antarctica. We can't, you and me ain't saving up enough money to do that. Sorry. They said, well, the Antarctica's cheap. Even if the prices go down, there's other prices that you could allegedly pay. I want to know what's over there. I want to know if there is a over there. I want to know if there's an edge of the earth. I want to see somebody film the drop-off point, like, yo, this is the edge of the earth, and if you step anywhere past this line right here, you're going smooth into outer space. Or if not, this is where we wrap around. This is where we're getting ready to go right side up, upside down, or if we're walking on a ball. So all of this, the idea of whether something is real, whether something is not real, all of that is really designed to exasperate you and to make you give up and become docile, mute, and bodied, so that you can be a perfectly willing vessel for the flood that is already here. It's just different entities raining down. Certain times a month I see them, they disguising as comets and shooting stars and whatnot. No shooting stars go downward only. They go across the sky, not down, not straight down like they've been doing the last 15 years. Right? And what is Starlink all about? What's that all about too? That looks interesting in the sky. I've seen and read the reports on what it's all about, but it's interesting to see something like that now in the midst of everything else that's going on. So again, these are going to be, if I go any further than this on this, it's just going to be a circular rambling at this point, because I do want to openly speculate and just see, what are people saying? Are they still saying the same things about all of this? Are they saying something different? This is just things that I've seen in visions and different types of documentation. Now, I'm leaving it in the hands of you, the viewer and the listener, to decide, does this resonate with you? I'm not saying whether this is true or false. I'm a superpositionalist. I see this as both true and false. I'm ready for both realities. Super T Sigma. Peace.